every great leader needs to know how to have hard conversations. In Jewish tradition, there is a concept called machloket l'shem shamayim, which means a division or a dispute for the sake of heaven. And really what that means is that whenever we encounter another, we have an opportunity to learn from them. We have an opportunity to grow from them, even if that means that we disagree, even if that means that we feel fundamentally different about the world. We have an opportunity to learn and grow from each other. Now that we understand that actually part of what we're trying to do when we engage the other is bring out our differences, how do we actually do that? What does it mean to really have a conversation like that? And this I learned from my teacher, Rabbi Daniel Roth, who is the director of the Perdey Center for Judaism and Conflict Resolution. There are many steps in creating a constructive conversation. But two of the most important ones perhaps are self-awareness and respect. In order to engage in a conversation with another person and have that be a constructive conversation, I need to know who I am. I need to know what my issues are, what I'm bringing to the table, why I came to my own understanding of the situation, and I have to trust and have respect for the other. I have to think about what is the other person able to bring to the conversation. So I have to know myself, and I have to trust that the other person too is bringing their own unique perspective. And we're not going to necessarily come to an agreement, but we are going to be able to hear and understand each other. One of my favorite pieces of texts actually is by Rabbi Abraham Isaac Kook. And he says that there's a very famous passage in the Talmud which says, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom be'olam. Rabbi Elazar said, the disciples of the wise increase peace in the world. And it seems sort of counterintuitive, right? Because many times when we look at Talmidei Chachamim, at people who learn and teach Jewish studies and Jewish texts, that there's a lot of dispute actually. There's a lot of discord between different kinds of Jews and how they think about the world. And Rav Kook says we're fundamentally misunderstanding. Right? That it is said, right, all of your children are disciples of God, and much peace shall be among your children, right? The Talmud tells us, right, Al tikri banaich ela bonaich. Don't read this verse from Isaiah as your children, but rather your builders, okay? And that is a proof, that verse from Isaiah proves that actually people who learn Torah are creators of peace, right? Banaich, your children, are actually bonaich, your builders. So those who are disciples of God create more peace in the world. But again, it seems sort of problematic because is that really true? Rav Kook says, Yesh to'im shechoshvim. There are those who are mistaken and think shehashalom ha'olami lo yibaneh ki im al yedei tzivyon echad b'deot v'tchunot. That there are those who think that world peace or universal peace will only be built when the world all agrees on one thing. But actually, Rav Kook continues and he says that's not true. That's not what real peace means. Real peace actually comes from the root and the idea of shalem. Shalom, the word peace, actually comes from the concept of shalem, which means wholeness. And Rav Kook continues and he says to us, actually what peace means, what it means to increase peace in the world, is actually increasing opinions. It's not that we all have to have the same opinion. It actually is that there needs to be a multiplicity of opinions, a multiplicity of ideas, and that will bring us to a completeness and a wholeness. And so when we're looking at another person and we're thinking about how am I going to engage in conversation with this person who thinks radically differently than me? How are we going to achieve peace? Actually, what Rav Kook asks us to do is to take leadership in saying this person's opinion is different than mine, but when we talk to each other, when we're able to treat each other with respect, when we're able to really see and value the other person, we actually bring more peace in that we bring out more ideas and more diversity. And so as leaders, instead of trying to build consensus, perhaps there's a value in building and bridging difference and really valuing our differences and hearing them and voicing them and respecting each other, and through our diversity actually building a unity because of our difference and not despite our differences.